Hey guys, Earl, aka Pragma here with Maven. Um, just wanted to cover a topic real quick. I'm gonna pick on G-Man a little bit. I know these are TH10s, but something I've been thinking about for a little while with respect to the jump spell, and wanted to call it out. I think it's important. It relates to basically funneling on a base. So I'm going to show you uh, sort of the difference between what I did on this base and what G-Man did. Just to recap, um, I hit about 98% on this, and G came in with basically a very similar attack and ended up with 66%. And I think what I'm going to show you guys is kind of the main reason why that happened. And it's kind of an important concept with the jump spell. You may have seen. I'm just going to let this run for a minute, and then I'll get to the meat of it. But in the meantime, you may have seen the One Hive video. Jake talks about natural base funnels. If you haven't seen that, go and watch it. It's pretty important. I use the concept a lot. Um, I'm actually just going to pause it here and kind of point out what I mean. In this base, there is a natural funnel, right? Right here, right? Um, And funneling is super important. Most people figure that out relatively early on if you haven't. Funneling is super important. It's pretty fundamental to the game, kind of from TH1 to TH10. There aren't a lot of builds that don't require funneling of some sort. And the jump spell is integral to that. Once you get to TH9, you can't sort of forget about how the jump spell impacts funneling, and it does. It absolutely does. It's sort of the next level funneling. One of the things I see people doing a lot with the jump spell is not necessarily considering how it impacts their funnel. So getting to the key point here, um, I dropped my jump spell here. You can see it pretty obviously. And here's the key point. My jump spell basically covers this compartment and this compartment. And it might look like a misdrop to the untrained eye, so to speak, but I intentionally left this compartment out. I could have centered my jump spell a lot like G did right here, right? And then it would have covered all of these compartments. That's these three right here. I didn't do that. I specifically didn't do that because I understood or I thought about the fact that when everything is coming in here, as they are, my troops are all running in here, my Valks, my King, etc. Um, they can basically get to the point at the end of the green line here and do one of two things. They're going to go this way, or they're going to go this way. Um, and obviously, where I really want them to go is here, right? I want them to get into this core, and my main objective is to take out this Inferno Tower. Um, But what I understood or what I thought about was the fact that even if they did go this way, they're going to clear this out pretty quick. I dropped 10 Valks, I think. It's a lot of Valks. They're packing a lot of punch, and so I knew they would clear that pretty quickly and then pop out here. So basically, your strategy, the reason I dropped the jump the way I did, is I said, okay, I want everything to do this, but worst case scenario, they're going to do this, right? And that's okay. And it turned out that was okay. It worked relatively well. I mean, this is TH10, so I didn't 3-star it. But you can see if we just let it play that's what happened. Everything kind of heads over there to the left side, about 9 o'clock area, and basically it kind of splits up, right? Half of them go that way, half go the other way. I'm just going to stop it there. But what we didn't see is, of course, nothing went over here. A couple of my range, the wizards and the AQ in particular, took out a couple of these buildings, but nothing went over into that compartment. And so what that means is, of course, everything got into the core where I wanted them to go a lot quicker. Um, Now, G-Man at this point is thinking, oh, yeah, right, because I didn't do that. But for the folks that didn't watch it, G-Man did did it differently. He covered both compartments, and I think it really ended up causing his raid to die. It fizzled out kind of in the core, even though we have the same troops. I mean, it's basically the same attack. He has his heroes aren't as quite high level as me, but you can see this is the difference. This is what I'm talking about here. His jump spell is right here. It covers all three compartments. So now, instead of the Valks doing this, which is what we want them to do, they can go here or here. And in fact, in a worst case scenario, they're going to do both, right? They're gonna do that, then that, and then that. And we're not even talking just about the Valks, just the split up, just the time it takes, excuse me, your troops to split up and go clear both sides. So let's just run it, and of course, that's what we see. We can see here the Valks go to the right, some go to the left, and that Inferno Tower is just eating up his troops. Right, he's just losing a lot of power there. And in fact, I think that's what crippled his raid is the time difference between in my raid, the fact that they basically ignored this compartment and went, like this, whereas in his raid, they had to come over here, clear, and by the time they get in the core, they just lost too much punch, Again, I will acknowledge that the hero level difference helps, but you can certainly, in this case, and it's an example of helping yourself a lot, right? If the jump spell is placed differently, I won't make G-Man rewatch that. If the jump spell is placed differently, it would happen much faster. You'd have a much better shot of clearing that core and getting those Infernos down. One more replay, not to show off or anything, but just to kind of emphasize the point of using natural funnels and the jump spell. In particular, I was talking to a friend. I was showing a friend of mine that plays this attack just because we were randomly looking at attacks. I said, "How would you do that? What do you think I did here?" And I thought it was kind of funny that he said, "Well," so hold on, pause. He said, "Well, obviously." This is a natural funnel, right? Because of this hole here, this right here is a natural funnel. So that's easy recognition there. This base is easy. Okay, this defense is not a good defense. So I didn't do anything special here. I'm just exploiting the weaknesses that are readily apparent in this defense. But aside from that, we have that natural funnel. He said, "Well, and I drop a jump spell here." And I was thinking, why would you drop a jump spell there when we know, I'm bringing 10 whiz or something like that, plus my AQ. I know they're going to get these buildings. And if I drop my jump spell there, where I have it marked, as my friend thought he would do, then there's a good chance your Valks or King or something is basically going to come in here and then go over here, clear this stuff, and then come out, right? Well, I don't want that. This whiz tower isn't hurting me, and my range are probably going to take it down. So the second thing to look at is, okay, over here there's a chance. Oops, I thought I had the pin on. There's a chance my Valks could go this way, right, and kind of clear this stuff out, especially if there's a Tesla tower right here. And that's right. They could, in fact, do that. And so what I want to do, using the natural funnel concept, is basically my idea was I'll drop... turn the pin on again. I'll drop my jump spell right here, and that way there's only two options. Oops. There's basically only two options. Either they go straight in, which is what I want them to do, right? Obviously, I'm going after those ADs so I can loon the outside. They're going to go straight in, or they're going to come over here, and then they're going to go straight in, because there's nowhere else for them to go. And that's also why, in fact, you wouldn't want to drop your jump spell here, because, again, they're going to have to come over here and clear this stuff out before they get in the middle. And I don't care about this stuff. This is what I want to loon, right? Not only, if my wizards don't get this stuff, if my AQ, my wizards don't clear this stuff, that's what I have the loons for. I'm basically saying this stuff all along these sides, this is all for loons, If the AQ or the Wiz happen to get, this stuff right here, that's bonus. Yeah, who cares? My loons. That's what my loons are for. I want the Valks and my kill squad to take out all of this. And the best way to accomplish that is to use the natural characteristics of the base to force my Valks to go exactly where I want and not anywhere else, and allow for the contingency that they bounce over here. But I know there's nothing else over here. So I've cleared there's no buildings out here to pull them off track. And the jump is still here. It's there for 45 seconds. If the Valks even do come over here, they're going to bounce out and come back. And so this is if we just run it, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. It's not that impressive because this base is so weak. But just to show you that, it obviously just works exactly like I had planned. And the Valks head straight up the middle. And in fact, that Wiz Tower up at the noon o'clock area, at the 12 o'clock area, my range got that. And then the loons come in and do what I wanted them to do. You can see that jump spell back there flashing. So if you haven't watched the natural funnel video by One Hive, I would recommend doing that. And then in the future, I would highly recommend being very conscious of why you're covering compartments with your jump spell. What are my troops doing if I drop my jump spell here versus here? I'll actually, as that last closing thoughts, go to this current war that I haven't even hit. I'm planning for this one right now. And one of the questions in my mind is basically, where do I drop the jump spell? It's one of the big ones, right? And right now I'm kind of thinking right here as a key point. But, you could make the argument, no, not in this case. I guess the bottom line is that dropping the jump spell so it covers the most compartments isn't always the goal. That's the point. In the first video I showed with the TH10, really highlights that, where G-Man sort of covered 3 compartments, 4 technically, and his Valks, his whole kill squad, basically the core squad that he wanted to go in and take out the Infernos, had to spread out, and it took them longer to get into the Infernos, versus my attack, where it only covered 3 compartments, technically, and the 2 that I knew I wanted them to go into. So that's all I got. Hope this helps you guys out, and clash on.